pleasure to meet all at last, and welcome back to Why's That? Yet again. So here we go. Question 55 out of 65. And what I can say for sure about this one is, this one I'm going to be able to talk a little bit more about, because the last few of them have been a little simple. And they barely lasted a few minutes each. That's not usually what I like to go for every time I try to answer a question. I intend to be as very persuasive and very fulfilling with each answer. I try to elaborate on it as much as possible, just so people can get a full idea of what I intend on doing in my life here. That is in fact why I allow people to ask me whatever, just so I can give them the answer to it. Well, anyways, this one's number 55 out of 65, and the question down here asks me, why is that you try to have variety in your YouTube career? Now, I don't know about you, but I wouldn't necessarily call this a YouTube career, because, after all, this is just one of the 5 branches I currently have at Kaiju Force Neo. The other 4, one of them relates to inventory liquidation, which usually happens on my eBay page, which I'll have a link down in the description box below. And of course, the other 3. There's one that talks about concepts and prototypes and the like, because I do like to try and see what other ideas I can come up with in life. And then of course there's URG, which relates to lawn care. And then of course, the 5th and final one. That was a pretty big abundance of stuff right there already. And then there's the filmmaking, which does indeed make up another pretty big part of it, along with the lawn care part. So technically, KFN Studios and URG Groundskeeping, they both occupy the biggest amounts of business shares out of all the ones that I currently have at the moment. 5 branches is pretty big already, but just wait. I will be sure to have at least 6, 7, 8, or 9 of them by the end of the year. Well, anyways, I intend to have variety on my YouTube channel, not so much as a career. The business Kaiju Force Neo itself happens to be the career of mine that I'm pretty much suited for at the moment. But I try to have variety in it regardless of what it is in general. Because after all, I do want to do anything possible for anyone out there who still uses YouTube as a way of possibly having an escape of some sorts. I don't do escapes. Reality always comes back to find me. But I'm glad that it will not kill me. What I could say for sure about my YouTube channel as a whole is that, well, I do variety for it, because with everything I've already done so far, like vlogs, challenges, podiatry, Nerf, gaming, Hot Wheels, talking about my honesty as a whole, I mean, that's a huge repertoire that I've already built up. And as a matter of fact, I probably could just jot down a resume with all that stuff in mind, but who knows if anything will in fact go down. If it will go the way you expect it to, or if it happens otherwise. I'm not entirely positive about the whole thing in general. But I insist that I do try to have a lot of variety in my YouTube channel as a whole, because after all, I am going to be expanding upon it even further than I used to. I will in fact have multiple Wheels of Steel, Survival of No Limits, and quite a few other new programs that will be coming onto my channel throughout the 2020s. I'm telling you, Kaiju Force Neo has gotten pretty big throughout the 2010s, with programs like Honest J Nowak, Hot Wheels Hilarity, and Gaming with Kaiju Force Neo being added on, but with Nerf Secrets Revealed becoming one of the first to get mainstream attention. And I tell you, even to this day I still do receive dozens of comments and a lot of viewership and even new subscribers if I'm lucky. But as a whole, my YouTube channel has already gotten pretty big, but why not take it a few steps further this time around? Because now that I'm 21, fully grown, fully aware, and fully understood about what reality is, it's about time Did I take some better responsibilities? Of course, I've already done a pretty good amount of work here in the last few years alone, but Kaiju Force Neo itself is going to have a lot of bigger, better stuff added to it. And I mean bigger and better than you could ever possibly imagine. The 2020s is going to be the time for Kaiju Force Neo to rise up. In the same way as Storyfire, and of course the legendary Monsterverse. Cinematic universe, if you will. They're both going to get really big throughout the 2020s. So let's see if Kaiju Force Neo, Storyfire, and Legendary Pictures can all clash together. Just like Sega, Nintendo, and Sony did back in the 90s. My time. Well, anyways, that's pretty much all I got to talk about based on this question in general, so be sure to stay tuned for number 56, because I tell you, this one's going to be pretty awesome too. But if you want to see more, go down on my channel. Make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, follow me on social media, and stay on the Hollywood side.